The Dallas Cowboys are heading into one of the most fascinating and pressure-packed off-seasons in recent franchise history, and the decisions being made right now could shape not only the 2026 season, but the identity of this organization for years to come. This is a team balancing financial philosophy, roster turnover, coaching changes, and the constant expectation of contention that comes with the star on the helmet. From contract standoffs to draft strategy, from coaching hires to questions about team-building ideology, Dallas is once again operating under a microscope. And the most telling part is that all of these storylines are connected, forming a bigger picture of a franchise trying to evolve without abandoning the methods that got them here. One of the most intriguing negotiations involves kicker Brandon Aubrey, who has quickly become one of the most valuable specialists in football. Both the Cowboys and Aubrey's representation agree that he deserves to be the highest-paid kicker in the league, but the gap between the two sides reveals deeper questions about how Dallas assigns value to non-traditional premium positions. The team has reportedly offered more than the current top average salary for kickers, yet Aubrey's camp is pushing for a number approaching $10 million per season. That is not just a negotiation over a specialist. It is a philosophical debate about whether elite special teams performance can be considered a game-changing asset worthy of top-tier money. Dallas knows firsthand how critical reliable kicking can be in playoff scenarios, especially for a team that has struggled to consistently finish drives in high-pressure moments. If they commit major cap space to Aubrey, it signals a willingness to pay for certainty in close games. If they hesitate, it reinforces the long-standing perception that the Cowboys prefer to allocate resources toward offensive stars and pass rushers. The restricted free agent tender looming over Aubrey gives Dallas leverage in the short term, but it also risks alienating a player who has been nearly automatic. This negotiation is less about a kicker and more about whether the Cowboys are willing to break their own conventions. Meanwhile, the offense received a major boost of continuity with running back Javonte Williams agreeing to a 3-year extension after a career season. His decision to stay in Dallas rather than test the open market speaks volumes about the culture inside the locker room and the belief players have in the offensive direction. Williams rushed for over 1,200 yards and 13 touchdowns, establishing himself as the physical engine of the offense. In a league increasingly dominated by passing, Dallas is quietly leaning into a balanced attack, and retaining Williams suggests they intend to control tempo rather than simply chase explosive plays. What makes this move especially important is how it stabilizes a backfield that had been in flux. Williams emerged from a committee that included Miles Sanders and a rookie contributor, eventually proving he could handle feature-back responsibilities. By locking him in, Dallas secures a player who can protect the quarterback, wear down defenses, and keep the offense on schedule. His reported request for the team to retain key teammates underscores a growing leadership presence. This is not just a productive player staying put. It is a signal that the Cowboys want continuity at a time when other parts of the roster remain uncertain. If you're enjoying this deep breakdown of the Cowboys' offseason chess moves, now is the perfect time to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next analysis. This offseason is moving fast, and every decision Dallas makes will ripple across the league. On the defensive side, the Cowboys are clearly prioritizing a transformation. Their heavy focus on linebackers and defensive linemen at the NFL combined reveals a franchise that understands last season's shortcomings were rooted in physicality and depth on that side of the ball. The list of prospects they met with reads like a blueprint for rebuilding the front seven. They are searching for sideline-to-sideline speed at linebacker, interior disruption on the defensive line, and edge players who can win one-on-one matchups. This is not casual scouting. It is targeted reconstruction. The hiring of pass rush specialist Brandon Jordan adds another layer to that strategy. Jordan's reputation for developing elite pass rushers has made him one of the most sought-after technicians in football circles. His arrival suggests the Cowboys believe their issue was not just talent, but also technique and development. Dallas ranked near the bottom of the league in sacks, a stunning statistic for a franchise that historically prides itself on defensive dominance. By bringing in a consultant known for refining hand usage, leverage, and pass rush sequencing, they are attempting to manufacture improvement from within while also preparing to add new talent through the draft. This coaching addition also reflects the influence of the new defensive leadership structure. The Cowboys are assembling a staff that blends teaching specialists with scheme architects, a modern approach that mirrors what the league's most innovative defenses are doing. If it works, Dallas could experience a rapid turnaround similar to teams that rebuilt their pass rush through coaching and targeted drafting rather than massive free agent spending. And that brings us to the most controversial aspect of the Cowboys' roster construction philosophy: their reluctance to dive into free agency. Over the past half-decade, Dallas has spent less than any other team on external signings, a strategy that has drawn criticism from analysts and fans alike. The numbers paint a stark picture. While other franchises aggressively pursue proven veterans to fill gaps, the Cowboys have relied heavily on drafting and internal development. The result has been inconsistent performance and a perception that the team is leaving opportunities on the table. Supporters of this approach argue that building through the draft creates sustainable success and avoids crippling contracts. Critics counter that refusing to participate meaningfully in free agency limits roster flexibility and places enormous pressure on draft picks to succeed immediately. The truth likely lies somewhere in between, but the stakes are rising. With a roster that has clear needs at multiple positions, Dallas may eventually be forced to reconsider its stance. Championships are often won by teams that combine strong drafting with selective free agent aggression, and the Cowboys have yet to fully embrace that balance. Another looming storyline involves wide receiver George Pickens and the contractual timeline that could define his future with the team. Unlike previous high-profile negotiations that dragged into training camp, this situation comes with a hard deadline tied to the franchise tag rules. If Dallas tags Pickens, they must reach a long-term agreement by mid-July or risk entering the season with uncertainty hanging over a key offensive weapon. This creates urgency that the organization has not always shown in past negotiations. The Pickens scenario encapsulates the Cowboys' broader challenge: managing elite talent while maintaining cap flexibility. Letting negotiations linger can create distractions and tension, but rushing into deals can compromise long-term planning. Dallas must navigate this carefully, especially with other contracts already shaping the salary structure. The outcome will influence not just the receiving core, but also how future players perceive the organization's willingness to reward performance promptly. All of these threads converge on one central question: are the Cowboys evolving, or are they repeating patterns under new circumstances? The hiring of specialized coaches suggests innovation. The retention of core offensive players indicates commitment to continuity. The cautious approach to free agency reveals adherence to tradition. This offseason is a collision between old philosophy and new urgency, and the balance they strike will determine whether Dallas remains a perennial contender or continues to hover just short of breakthrough success. As the draft approaches and contract negotiations intensify, every move will carry amplified consequences. The Cowboys are not rebuilding, but they are recalibrating, attempting to fix weaknesses without dismantling strengths. That is a far more complicated task than starting over, and it requires precision at every level of the organization. For a franchise accustomed to national attention, the margin for error is razor thin. If you want more in-depth analysis like this covering every major Cowboys development as it happens, make sure to subscribe and stay locked in, because this offseason is shaping up to be one of the most pivotal eras in Dallas football.